Hello, Magnons. Here is Eric Cox coming to you again. This is week number 3, I believe, that we have going on with our online learning. I am coming to you from a different location this time, but lesson is still the same and everything as normal. So, hopefully you had a great Easter and had a chance to hang out with your family. So this week the lesson's going to be a little bit longer. You have a new story that you're going to be working with, Spaghetti für zwei, which is a great story. It has to deal with a couple of students and the case of mistaken food identity, if that's what you want to call it. So some interesting things here, and I really enjoy the story, so I hope you will as well. So again, everything is posted on Moodle that you're going to need. Let me go ahead and shrink myself down a little bit so we can take a look. Again, here is your week's plan, so your lesson plan is right there. Of course, the video is not posted yet because I'm recording it right now. Your Quizlet, I have given you, I reduced this list down. It was like 61 words. I reduced it down to the words that you're going to need to know in order to complete the cloze activities that you have this week. So it's a little bit of a shorter one. There's only about 25 in there. Of course, there's the text for Spaghetti für zwei. So this idea of, again, spaghetti for two, really cool reading. By the way, there is a version of it online through YouTube so that you can listen to it. The only thing that I'll say is that the audio for this one, the story is changed just a little bit. But if you want to listen to the story, it's generally the same story and things like that, so feel free to go and find it. I didn't post it here because, again, it's not the exact same story as far as word for word for what I've given you there. So, so you have that reading for Spaghetti für zwei, but you also this week are going to be working with a new noun case. Some of you guys have heard about this before. It's called the genitive or das Genitiv. Okay, this noun case, like the nominative, accusative, and dative, remember that a noun case talks about what is the role of a particular noun in a sentence. Well, the genitive, let me dispel a couple of things. First off, the genitive is, you'll hear some people say the genitive is dying out, and that's kind of true and kind of not. The genitive gets used all the time, but a lot of German speakers now are preferring kind of like an English version of the genitive rather than the actual German version, and I'll show you that in the notes. So you guys really need to use these notes today, this week, for your second part on Spaghetti für zwei. But let me pull up the notes and kind of get those in there so you can see those. All right, let me boost this up just a little bit. Still getting used to some of the recording stuff that I've got here. Okay, so what you guys need to see here, again, is the genitive case is used to show a number of things, but for our purposes, it will be used to show the relationship between two nouns. Remember, a case is something that rules nouns. Okay, you have tenses for verbs, you have cases for nouns. In German, we call this Kausus. Okay, so das Genitiv is what we're talking about here. This is the fourth Kausus in German. Okay, but the genitive is relatively used for possession, such as one if something is a part of something, it's connected to, or depends upon the other. Okay, so for instance, if you look here, it says in English we phrase the genitive this way using the preposition of, as in the example. So this is the color of the house. Okay, so if I'm showing you something and say, oh, this is the color of the house, that's the genitive at work in English, because I'm relating the word color to the word house. Well, how are they connected? Well, this is the color of the house. Okay, so notice there, or excuse me, let's take a look at the second one. Which color is it? Oh, the house's color. Okay, so if you look right here, this right here is what you are probably used to when we talk about possession. You have the apostrophe S. Okay, but this right here is also possession. It's also the genitive case. All right, so if you take a look here, it says the first English expression is very much like the German. That's the genitive of the, okay, with the genitive phrase, aka the possessor. So in other words, what is the possessor? Well, the house is in possession of the color. Okay, so the genitive phrase, the possessor, is generally following the possessee or the possession. Okay, so that's how we look at it. So possession first, and then the possessor second. Okay, so if you take a look at here, der Schreibtisch des Mannes, the man's desk. Notice here that der, because Mann is der, notice that der becomes des when we go into the genitive case. Okay, I know what you guys are thinking right now. Is this related to that Risi, Nisi, Merman, and Cursor, or I can't remember what you guys said in class, but yes, this is that Risi, Nisi, Merman, Cursor. Okay, SR, SR. Notice here, die Zerstörung der Mauer, the destruction or the fall of the wall. Notice, what do you have? The destruction. Okay, that's a noun. And wall. Well, the possessor, the wall, is taking possession of the destruction. Okay, but notice that they're in different order there. Okay, so notice here, die Mauer, by the way, this is really weird. People think, oh, it's ER, this must be masculine. Nope, Mauer is feminine, so die Mauer becomes der. Okay, here, der Stil des Theaters, okay, the style of the theater, or the way that it looks, okay, the styling, maybe you might want to say that, okay, so notice here, das becomes der, and die Lösung, die Probleme, the answer of or to the problems, okay, notice here that die in the plural becomes der in the genitive, okay, so again, remember, Risi, Nisi, Merman, Cursor. Okay. Oh, I just noticed something, gentlemen. I made a mistake. Please make sure that you know that das does not become der. It becomes des, D-E-S. I will fix that in the notes and put these notes back up. Okay. Made a mistake. My bad. All right. So let's take a look at a few of the rules that when it comes to the genitive. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. There are tons of rules when it comes to the genitive. I'm not going to teach you them all because, honestly, again, genitive is something that is really rather advanced, and not a lot of German students are going to be studying the genitive until they get to college. So I'm giving you a sneak peek of what you would see if you and when you go to college and study German. Okay, so first off, with proper names and family member terms used as names like Vater. So instead, if I'm not saying, instead of calling my father Bob, if I call him Father as his title, okay, I can use that as a noun, family member names. You add an S and no apostrophe and put the genitive noun or the possessor before its related noun as in English. So, Herr Meyer's Entscheidung. So this is Mr. Meyer's decision, okay? So notice that this is a little bit of a switch from what we've seen before, okay? Vater's Angst, father's anxiety, all right? So notice we're not saying the anxiety of the father or the decision of Mr. Meyer. We're switching it and making it sound a little bit more like it would in English. The genitive, number 2, the genitive is not used to alter units of measurements. You might want to make sure that you know this when you look at the quiz later on. Did I put a unit of measurement in your quiz? So, for instance, Lars trinkt ein Glas Milch. Lars is drinking a glass of milk, okay? Notice we have the phrase of milk in there, okay? So this is a genitive phrase, but I'm not going to alter and put S's and ES's and things like that with that one. I'm just going to leave it as is. Ein Glas Milch. Kind of like if you remember back in German 1 when you were looking at clothing, okay? Ein Paar Jeans, okay? A pair of jeans. even back then, you were learning some genitive, but we weren't teaching it to you then. Okay, so you've seen this before. All right, so masculine and neuter nouns. Here's the big thing. Masculine and neuter nouns are going to add this S or ES in the genitive. So for instance, the S goes on the end of a noun with that has more than one syllable. So das Rad, when the noun has more than one syllable. The S is preferred when the noun has more than one syllable. So das Rad, des Rades. But notice here, das Fahrrad, 2 syllables, des Fahrrads. Okay, so it's a little bit different. So notice that if it's just one syllable, I'm adding that ES, okay? So like up at top where we had des Mannes, okay? Because man is one singular syllable, okay? But when I go to Fahrrad, now I have 2 syllables, okay? Now I'm just going to add that S, okay? Or I'm going to add that S if it ends in a vowel. Okay, the reason we do this is because I don't need to add an extra vowel, the E, if it's already ending in some sort of vowel sound, such as like der Schrei, okay, the scream, des Schreis, the screams, okay? So the scream or the screams of whoever, okay? All right, the ES is usually preferred when a noun is monosyllabic, again, one syllable, okay, so das Geld des Geldes, and is required when the noun it ends in an S, SCH, SZ, X, or Z. Guys, when it ends in an S sound, okay? The reason I'm going to add that ES is because I've got to give my mouth an opportunity to reform that S sound, okay? Otherwise, it's just going to be a long S. So, for instance, der Schreibtisch, okay? Notice that I have a sh sound. I have to go to S, so I'm going to add that E, okay? Des Schreibtisches. Okay, notice that I'm giving myself an opportunity to do that. All right, and the nouns ending in NIS add an S before the ES. The reason they do this again is I've got to have a little bit. There's no really easy way to explain this. Just know that if it ends in NIS, which if I remember correctly in your stuff, I don't think I added one of these, but it wasn't one that you needed to know. Okay, so you add that ES. All right. Now, I'm going to go, once I'm finished with this video, I'm going to go fix those notes so that you have the correct one, okay? Guys, seriously, this week, if you need any assistance, please come and see me on during my office hours. I'm available to help you do whatever you need to do. Some of you guys have reached out to me and some of you I haven't heard from. But if you need anything, again, remember, I am here. Speaking of grades will be in the grade book. You guys have seen what you've done on Moodle and you know if you've completed it or not, okay? It's taking me just a little bit of time because I'm doing lessons and I'm writing curriculum. Oh, and I'm also moving to a new house. So, some patience with me will be great. Trust me, I've got you. We'll get you taken care of, okay? So, with that being said, nothing else from me. You guys have a great week and I will see you next Sunday at 3 p.m. for your next lesson. All right, until then, gentlemen, chew.